Hello students. Today let us begin with the second lesson of Science 2, that is energy flow in an ecosystem. I divided this lesson into two parts. So today in part 1 we are going to study about food chain, food web and energy pyramid. We all have studied in the lower class that various living organisms can be divided depending upon the different mode of nutrition. We have seen in the lower class that all the living organisms they can be categorized as producers, consumers, saprotrophs and decomposers. All these various forms of living organisms, they live in interaction with one another. In this way a ecosystem is formed. In this ecosystem there is always a interaction between the biotic and the abiotic components of the environment. We all know in detail about the biotic, that is the living organism, and the abiotic, that is all the non-living organ or non-living concepts, that is wind, sunlight, temperature, humidity. So there seems to be a interaction between the biotic and abiotic component, which ultimately leads to a very good ecosystem. Now, let us study how the energy flow takes place in an ecosystem. Every ecosystem consists of various trophic levels. In the diagram, I had tried to show you the different trophic levels. The first and the base of an ecosystem are the producers. All the green plants, they are said to be the producers. Now these green plants, they are consumed by primary consumers. Consumers, because they cannot prepare their own food, they have to consume their food from other living organism. So first are the herbivores. All the herbivorous animals, they are known as primary consumers. Various examples of herbivores are grasshopper, squirrel, elephant, birds, insects. So they are directly depend on the autotrophs for their food. Then comes the second trophic level, that is the secondary consumer. They are also known as carnivores because these animals, they depend on herbivore animal for their food. Example of these carnivores are frog, owl, fox, etc. Then the third level of trophic level is the apex or top consumers. They are also the carnivores. They depend on both herbivores and carnivores as their food. Now these are the top level consumers. So no other animals can feed on these top consumers. Examples are lion, tiger, etc. Then comes the omnivores. These omnivores, they are also known as mixed consumers because they depend on the herbivores and carnivores for their nutrition. For example, we, the human beings, are omnivores depending upon the necessity or the surrounding condition. Many of us are non-vegetarian or vegetarian depending upon our survival. So animals example is the bear. So in this way, there is always the interaction between all the living organisms in an ecosystem with the help of the food. This interaction goes on continuously between the producer, consumer and saprophytes, and so there is a definite sequence in this interaction which is called the food chain in an ecosystem. Now here you can see the simple form of food chain. Here the food chain, it consists of the 4, 5 or more links. Now this food chain always begins with the producers. Here grass is shown to you. This grass, it carries out the process of photosynthesis by absorbing the solar energy. This grass is eaten by grasshopper, that is the herbivore. Herbivore are eaten by the Carnivores are eaten by the top carnivores. So here grasshopper is eaten by the frog, frog is eaten by snake, snake is eaten by hawk, and hawk after the death and decay they are decomposed by the decomposers which are present in the soil, and in this way they are added to the soil. You can see that in this way a food chain operates in an ecosystem. Now, an ecosystem consists of many food chains that are interconnected at various levels, and so it forms a web-like structure which is ultimately known as a food web. You can see here that an organism may be the prey for many other organisms. For example, an insect feeds upon the leaves of various plants, but the same insect is the prey for different animals like frog, wall lizard, birds, etc. If this is to be shown in a figure, it will form an intricate wave instead of a linear food chain. Such an intricate network is called a food web. So we can see that generally a food web are found everywhere in nature. That is why this food web is a very important aspect of our ecosystem. And this food web is possible only if we have different varieties of living organism, means we will have the biodiversity around us. That's why each and every living organism has got the importance in the ecosystem. That's why to know the importance of each and every living organism, the students are given this lesson in 9th class, so that you will came to know about the importance of various living organism. Now the next concept which is there is the energy pyramid. You have seen that each level in the food chain is called a trophic level. A trophic level is the step at which the organisms obtain its food in the food chain. The amount of matter and energy, it gradually decreases from producers at the lowest level to the top consumers at the highest level. Charles Elton, a British scientist, he first proposed this concept of ecological pyramid in the year 1927 when he was studying the tundra ecosystem of the Bear Island in England, and hence this type of pyramid is also known as Eltonian pyramid. While the first time the food chain and the energy flow was studied by Sir Lindemann in the year 1942. So this you should know. Now here you can say that energy transport takes place at every level. The trophic level which is shown here is said to be the energy pyramid. You can see the base of the pyramid is the producers. All the producers are there, and so the number of organisms are also very large in number. Now these producers are eaten by the herbivores, which are the first trophic level. In return they are eaten by the carnivores, which form the second trophic level, and in turn they are eaten by the omnivores, which form the third trophic level. In this way you can see that there are different levels of energy exchange in the food chain. The initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing at every level of energy exchange. Similarly, you can see that the number of organisms also decreases from the lowest level to the highest level, that is from producer to the third trophic level. So this pattern of energy exchange in an ecosystem, it ultimately forms the pyramid, as it is the transport of energy. So that's why this pyramid is also known as pyramid of energy. Now here you can observe that the energy flow in an ecosystem, how it takes place. For example, the diagram is shown here of the aquatic ecosystem. Now, in the aquatic ecosystem, producer level are the phytoplanktons, then comes the zooplankton, fishes and humans. Here you can observe that how the energy flow takes place. Now, in energy pyramid, suppose the phytoplanktons has 10,000 of kilocalories energy with them. They will utilize some form of energy for their own life activities. Some amount is lost in the atmosphere. Now when this energy get transferred to the next trophic level, only 10% of the energy gets transported, and that is out of 10,000 kilocalories, only 1000 kilocalories is transported to the first trophic level. See, in the same way, the first trophic level it transport only the 10% of energy to the second trophic level, that is to the fishes. In this way you can see that energy transport, there is always a 10% of transport. Now after the death of the apex consumer, their energy became available to the consumers. At such moment, fungi and other microorganisms decompose the bodies of the dead animals. They are also known as the decomposers. In this process of obtaining the food from the remains of organisms, decomposers convert them into simple carbon compounds, and these substances easily mixed with air, water and soil, from where they are again absorbed by the plants and incorporate into the food chain. So in this way you can see that how the energy transport takes place. But here you can say that 100% of energy is never transported. At every level there is some amount of energy which gets dissipated in the form of heat. However, no part of the energy ever returns to the sun also, because ultimately sun is the most important source of energy. It is the source of energy for photosynthesis. If there is no solar energy, plants cannot prepare their food. In this way, when the energy is transported from phytoplanktons to human beings or the apex carnivores, you can say that it get never returned back to the sun, and hence such a passage of energy is referred as one-way transport. That's why energy flow in an ecosystem is a one-way transport. This is how the energy flow in an ecosystem takes place. Thank you very much.